But they're not both over there.
No, but I said they, Matt as in they went to get a sandwich. Yes, David's right over there, but I can't refer to Matt as he's a they. So when you ask me what happened to Matt and David, I have to say they went to get a sandwich, even though David didn't go to get a sandwich, only Matt did. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I used your name in the example, but it makes Too
late. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at you and I was just coming up with names, and I didn't mean, here's the thing, I did want to use you in the example, but I didn't mean to make you the they. So I'm sorry that I made you the they, and now I've now fucked up the pronouns. I didn't use your proper pronoun.
Well,
are you going to cancel us?
I'm pretty mad at you right now because you should know by now that my pronouns are moose/squirrel.
Oh, fuck. But no, I literally, it is the funny thing about it. I literally meant to use you in the example, but I ended up making you the they, and that wasn't David was supposed to be the they. But I got confused in it, just to maintain the example, whatever. So then here's the next one. This is also due to NPR, and I guess I'm just getting too much content off of NPR here. But and I could have threaded this into the last one, but this is kind of funny to me. So the other morning I'm listening. I think it was the Weekend Edition, and they go on this fucking hard critique of a country album, and not like typical NPR folksy country. They go into this critique of a pop country, real serious country album, And
I don't want to cut you off, but please don't call radio country serious country. Anyway,
I didn't say serious country. I said serious country. Okay, that's that's different. You got to pick up on the inflections in my voice. I do a lot with my inflections.
We got a problem with context in this country.
But anyways, so it's that kind of country that you hear on the pop country stations. Yes. It's got that sound. Again, it's not folksy. It's not anything. It's when in a new drop truck. I was trying to say drive a big truck.
My truck's in my mud flap, woman.
No, but that's actually too low key. This is really that. Got a big truck, gonna drive it up and down the road. Like that kind of fucking country, you know what I'm talking about?
I very much do.
So I'm like, so they're doing 3 minutes on these guys. They were called the Brothers Osborne, and I'm sitting there as I'm doing my dishes, why does NPR give such a shit about this country band that they never would pay any attention to, whatsoever? They never, why is NPR doing this bit or this piece right now? And literally as that thought crosses my mind, there's a pause, and the dude's voice comes in, even though they couldn't tour last year during COVID, one of the Brothers Osborne had a reckoning with himself, and he came out as gay. You go, oh, that's where it is. That's why it's on NPR. Okay.
So what? So fucking what?
Here it is. So the question here is, because this now might be starting to sound homophobic or something, but that's not the question. The question on this one is, why do I know that when NPR is talking about country music, that there's something else going on with the story, and why can't we talk about it?
No, we can't talk about it. We should talk about it, because, seriously, okay. Why again, to use your premise to all of this, this has nothing to do with anyone's identity or anything like that. We're very accepting people. We don't care. Who wants to identify as whatever. But why is this constantly used as a way, like, because like you said, NPR would never talk about a country band, especially like a pop country band like this. But the only reason that they have to talk about it is because one of them came out as gay. Like, who gives a shit? Like, let that dude live his life. Why is that a fucking publicity stunt? And I don't, yeah.
And I'm not gonna put the publicity thing on him.
No, it's not.
I will say that, like, I mean, they were I want to be careful about my words here, because it did feel like that the band was using it a little bit to know that they could get, like, some coverage on fucking NPR or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like nobody cares anymore. Why are we all just like seriously, just fucking live your life? I do not know anybody, and we talked about this during the week, because, to be full disclosure, we've talked about some of these topics before a little bit. Like, I don't know anybody in my life that needs any of their friends to come out to them. I swear to God, you might call me, like, short-sighted or ignorant or something, but I'm pretty confident in all the friends that I know and all the friends that I have. If one of them just, like, showed up to a bonfire with someone of the same sex and, like, clearly they were together, people just be like, oh, I guess he's gay. You didn't need to do a whole thing to, like, come out, you know? Like, okay, and people be like, you know, maybe they go like, I didn't know that, but nobody cares.
No.
Like, nobody fucking
no,
cares.
and, like, to be a little extra clear about that, just, I guess, from my own perspective, like, I don't want to diminish what it takes, like, the courage that it takes to do that, like, you know, to come out and state to the world that you are gay or what have you. But what we're getting at is that we're the kind of people that if a friend of ours just can't, you know, didn't even have to say anything, just all of a sudden is with a same-sex partner, okay, like, didn't know that, but fine. Like, you know, like, nothing needs, it doesn't need to be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, no, we don't care. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's just what it is, you know, and I think that what I would like to see, and you know what, like, we're going off the premise a little bit here, because I did tell you prior to the show, again, behind the curtain here, like, I think the key to talking about these ideas is to keep them concise, so we don't muddy ourselves up into this, like, thing where we now are, like, trying to qualify all the fucking statements that have been made, because that's when people, like, you know, get themselves in trouble. But I know that we're coming from an honest place in our hearts about it, and it's just really that I would hope that we can, as we fight for equality while realizing that it does not yet exist and that there is fighting for people to do, I would hope that at least within friend groups, now I'm not talking about society, but I'm hoping about within friend groups we can move beyond this point of, like, where you would have to feel the need to tell people about what your sexuality is, because if these are your friends, you should be able to show up to a party or do what you do without having to make a fucking to-do about it. You know? And I would just hope that we can make that next step.
Exactly.
Let's say you know what I mean?
The
like,
true full step to equality is that if you show up with a same-sex partner or come out as gay, tell someone that you're gay, the correct response is, who gives a shit?
yeah. Or just, gay.
All right.
Whatever.
Anyway.
So now moving on. We're going to hit this last one, although I have a feeling I might wrap you into some conversation on this. But my last one has to do with religion. And it's got nothing to do with NPR. And I actually thought about this well before the Israel and Palestine Gaza Strip ordeal really flared up. I thought about this while I was watching a Brooklyn Nets game because Kyrie Irving, their star point guard, recently converted to Islam, and this was his first Ramadan, and people were making all these jokes, like, because he was on fire. Like, he was on fucking fire, and, like, he's fasting, like, he's in, like, some other, like, you know, he's unlocked some other area of his brain because he's doing this fasting and he's without water, and I'd like to drop him with the joke calling him dehydrated because Kyrie, dehydrated, get it, you know, yeah. But then it got me to thinking about, like, Snickers commercials and how we accept people being hangry. Like, you know, hungry, grab a Snickers. They had all the commercials of, like, little Danny DeVito or whoever, like, bitching, and then the person has a Snickers, and they're, like, they're like Joe Pesci or whoever it was, you know, like, all of a sudden they're themselves again.
Okay.
And then I got thinking from there about just the way that religion has controlled people, like, for, you know, thousands of years, and, like, looking even at, like, the Catholics telling people not to eat meat on Fridays so that they could sell more fish from, like, Italian fucking fisheries, you know, and, like, back, or purgatory, or all these other things. So I started to think, like, why is it that it seems to always be the spring? Remember the Arab Spring? Like a couple years back, like 2013,
honestly,
2014.
I heard that referred to recently on some other show, and I truly don't know what that is.
Okay, so this was, I think it broke out in Libya. It had some impact on Egypt. I wasn't expecting you to make me have to explain it.
I'm sorry,
so
but I really don't know what it is.
You know, offer up my ignorance here. But there was a lot of, like, pro-democracy uprising in Islamic Arabic countries, like, throughout the spring of, like, 2013, 2014, somewhere in there, right? And so just thinking about back on that, thinking about all these, like, different factors I brought up, I just kind of thought, like, doesn't this whole month of fasting and not drinking water kind of feel like a, you know, control by a religion that actually has nothing to do with, like, being a moral person? Or, like, why is it that when all these people are hangry and thirsty, the war seems to break out? And why can't we talk about that?
It's not... I tried to match you. I was a little off. But, yeah, I mean, it does, obviously, fasting. I've been... Granted, it's not the same as fasting for days or weeks at a time, but, man, even trying intermittent fasting makes me grumpy. It's not that I'm even, you know, doing a severe thing. I'm just trying to only eat between noon and 8 o'clock, and there's some mornings. Granted, if I drank less, it would probably be less of a problem, but, you know, waking up hungover and I can't have anything until noon, I'm like, fuck this, and fuck everyone around me.
Yeah, no, and so like the whole, like, I'm just gonna wrap this up right here cleanly. Like, the whole point of these conversations are, we're not talking about, like, freedom of religion, we're not talking about freedom of identity, we're not talking about sexuality. It's all about these, like, little points within them where I feel that, you know, people get scared because, we're talking about religion, we're talking about, you know, we're talking about identity, we're talking about these things. It's like, no, that's actually not what we're talking about. I'm trying to talk about confusion of grammar, why NPR can't just do a story about, you know, anybody. Like, why they can't do a story about country music without one of the members being gay. Or why, you know, fucking people get, like, angry when they're hungry. Nothing to do with anything about identity or anything like that. Just simple questions, and why can't we talk about them? And we obviously have here, and I'd like to hope that we can progress the conversation based on that. So that's that.
Indeed, man. I was watching those Tucker Carlson clips, like I mentioned right before we got started here, and it's just amazing to me how he can flip so much shit that has nothing to do with what he's talking about to make it seem like it has to do with what he's talking about. And
dude's a maestro.
It's like,
honestly,
you try to do that obviously with what we're doing, even, comedy or if you're, satiring something. But I'm just watching him and I'm just getting mad, which is a fairly natural response, I feel. But